So you talked about those two questions that started this process of looking into a future that doesn't actually exist, and we can go deeper into that. Would you say this is the start of all suffering? And with suffering, I mean the mental suffering people experience, like the thought of I'm not good enough, so I have to find something that makes me good enough. Would you say that this is the start of suffering?
I think for many people it is. It's right there near the beginning. Before that point, I would say that even just coming into this so-called life, we cannot help in some way to get conditioned and programmed. It almost seems impossible that that's not going to happen to some degree. As soon as we take on a name, right? In my country we say a given name. So we even call it a given name. So we're given this name, which means that it's not original to who we are. And then we taught to identify with the name. And every time that name gets called, we say, oh yeah, that's me, you know. And so we form an identity around it. And then people tell us, maybe our parents and society tells us, oh, you're like this kind of person. You like this, you know, or your personality is like this. You're an introvert, you're an extrovert. And we get taught to identify with our likes and dislikes, which come from the preferences of the body, passed on from our genetics, from our ancestors. And so we have this collection of things that we're given. The body is given, the mind is given. All these ideas, labels, belief systems can be given. If we're brought up in a religious household, then we get given certain religious belief systems. But even if it is a non-religious household, there'll be certain values and belief systems that we're given. So we take all this stuff on at a very young age. Then we go to school, and then school does it as well. So we're actually bombarded. As soon as we come into this world, so to speak, we're bombarded from all angles with conditioning. And the suffering happens because we are misidentifying who we really are. We start to lose contact with the true nature of what we are. And we start to think, I am the body, I am the mind. I am my personality. I am my likes and dislikes. I am my opinions, my belief systems. And then when we get possessions, I am my possessions. My car, my money, my house, my career. And then we have roles. Oh, I am this role. I'm a sister or a brother or a son or a daughter. Or I am a banker or a plumber or so on, right? So we take on all of these identities, which then buries our true identity. And it is that disconnection from our true identity that then leads us into states of unhappiness and inner suffering. It's believing the personal story of who we think we are and not being connected to what we really are that then seems to lead to suffering. And that can go on and on for all of a person's life. All the way until they're old, and even then, maybe sometimes, rarely maybe, a person in their final moments might realize that what I thought I was all my life is not what I was. But wouldn't it be best to realize that as early as possible?
Yeah.
And that's what self-realization is.
Awesome.